It's clear that he was a hero in our community.
I knew him to be a man who loved his wife, Gail, and his children.
The work he did, and we continue to do, is of paramount importance.
We still miss him. There is a hole.
He was a good friend and a good boss.
What is important to many of us is that we not only solemnly remember Joe's dedication and that he made the ultimate sacrifice, but we also remember who he was, what he believed in, and what he stood for. For those who may not have known Joe Bergeron, he was born and raised in White Bear Lake. As a young man, he enjoyed hunting and the outdoors. Joe served as a police officer for the city of Maplewood starting in 1984 and also served as an investigator and a police paramedic prior to being promoted to sergeant. Sergeant Joe Bergeron was the epitome of a community servant, a person who believed in serving others and contributing to a cause that was greater than himself.
I had the privilege of knowing Joe long before I served on the council and as mayor of the city. I knew him to be a man who cared for the welfare of his fellow officers and someone who truly cared about our community and the residents of Maplewood that he was sworn to protect and to serve. To his wife, Gail, and to his children, Sam and Allie, his extended family and friends gathered here today, we acknowledge his sacrifice and your sacrifice and all the lost time you did not have with Joe, and for that we are indebted to you all.
This is a solemn day because of what it causes us to remember, but if we go a step further and remember Joe, there should be smiles on our faces. The things I choose to remember are his sardonic humor, his ability to talk with anyone, and his ability to make everyone around him realize what his life as a cop was about, and it was positive.
Joe and I were good friends, and we had a lot of things in common, and I always said about Joe, once you met him, you'd never forget him.
Sergeant Bergeron is my uncle, and I've had the privilege of working at the Maplewood Police Department for 2.5 years now. Coming into an agency where Joe left such an important legacy was extremely intimidating. Joe was a well-liked, respected sergeant within the department and was also respected and loved by his community. All of us here at the Maplewood Police Department continue to live by the principles that he lived by. Love and cherish your family, and truly care for each other and your fellow officers.
I am proud to tell you about the Sergeant Joseph Bergeron Community Service Award. This award was created in collaboration with the Bergeron family to honor his legacy of community service that he provided throughout his career. It also helps us as a community to recognize those who, like Joe, go above and beyond in the service of our community. During her 17-year career with the Maplewood Police Department, Officer Alicia Metry epitomized the commitment to service and community policing philosophy that this award recognizes. As a patrol officer and detective, she worked diligently to help victims of crime. She was very active with the DARE program, Special Olympics, coaching a softball team for people with intellectual disabilities, and Mothers Against Drunk Driving. The outreach events that she participated in were varied, but she read to children in the community without fail on a weekly basis. And Officer Metry is the epitome of community service and deserving of the Sergeant Joseph Bergeron Community Service Award. Please welcome me in congratulating Officer Metry on being the first award winner. James Edens is a fleet service volunteer for the Maplewood Police Department for approximately the last 4 years, where he's been the backbone of our fleet volunteer program. Jim maintains the department's fleet of 22 marked squad cars and 8 unmarked squad cars. He assisted in getting our squads to various locations for maintenance, washing the exterior and interiors of the vehicle, checking and restocking supplies. He designed and built a new storage system for the back of our police SUVs, keeping the supplies organized and protected from damage. This is only one example of the thousands of hours that Jim has dedicated to the city of Maplewood and the Maplewood Police Department. Jim's spirit of volunteerism gives back to the community, but more importantly enhances the service of our police officers and department staff as we provide service to the community. Please join me in congratulating James Edens in being one of the first recipients of the Sergeant Joseph Bergeron Community Service Award. Look forward to a photo. Joe Bergeron's life and sacrifice in order to help safeguard our community can never be forgotten. I hope that, like me, you're inspired by his example of service, tolerance, connectedness, and sacrifice.
And Joe will always remain in our hearts and in our minds and in our prayers. Merciful Father, grant him rest and that shield and stripes of heaven. Amen.